Thanks for staying with us on TVC Breakfast. We have a host of papers now to look at, talking about the big stories of the day here in Nigeria, and then we'll look at a few other dailies on the foreign scene. The first with me is Daily Times, and the top story there is on insecurity. Aggrieved lawmakers insist on President Buhari's impeachment. This is now like a week old, looking at when this development first started. And of course, we haven't heard the last on this move. To First News now, Afenifere speaks to President Buhari. They say, dare terrorists, tell them you're still in charge. Afenifere issues directive there to President Buhari on the state of insecurity. And that story is also reflected on Daily Independent. As we see next, FG doesn't know state of economy. Afenifere laments, says Nigerian economy is currently in intensive care. Asks President Buhari to prove to terrorists he is in charge. That's on the Daily Independent. Next is The Nation. Yoruba leaders to Tinubu, your victory in 2023 is certain. Southwest APC unfolds reconciliation plan, and ruling party's candidate will be different, says Festus Keyamo. Of course, he is the spokesman of the APC's presidential campaign organization. All this and more on The Nation. Now to The Punch. Peace talks suffer. Wike descends on Atiku's men. You cannot go to Abuja and hold meetings against me, Wike tells PDP chieftains. Rivers governor uncomfortable with my closeness to Atiku Abubakar. That's according to Lee Mabel there speaking. All this on The Punch. All right, we head over now to look at The Guardian. The Guardian is also reflecting the state of the main opposition party, saying Wike Atiku camps return to trenches. That's on The Guardian. And Mike is next.
All right. Let me bring you this. I'm starting from Nigerian News Direct. News Direct says, controversy trails Buhari's approval of ExxonMobil's Seplat assets acquisition deal. Right, that's in oil and gas. That's what the Nigerian News Direct has. And we move to this Nigeria. This Nigeria is talking about audit report. Senate probes MDA's 1.7 trillion naira service votes. Okay, that's what this Nigeria has. And from there we go to Business Day. That says NESG, that's Nigeria Economic Summit Group, urges reforms as Buhari's legacy at stake. That is what Business Day has in there. And from there, we'll go to the national economy. National economy says Nigeria's textile industry comatose as 115 firms shut down. Nigeria's textile industry comatose as 115 firms shut down. Then the Leadership newspaper, which is the last one I'm looking at right now, says Nigerians resort to cheaper goods as inflation decks purchasing power. Nigerians resort to cheaper goods as inflation decks purchasing power. That's the Leadership newspaper this morning.
Yeah, finally with me now, Daily Trust, how FG injected 247 billion naira subsidy to salvage low electricity generation. Daily Trust there, how FG injected 247 billion naira subsidy to salvage low power generation in Nigeria. And finally, we go to the foreign scene now. The Independent in the UK, PM rules out emergency action on cost of living. The exiting Boris Johnson there rules out emergency action on cost of living. Businesses warn that UK cannot afford summer of inactivity on the lingering crisis regarding cost of living there in Britain. Well, that's the much we can take on the papers at this time now. But if we look at how papers like The Punch, how they're leaning on at this time, it is on the drama that still lingers at the main opposition, that's the PDP now. Of course, we've seen Governor Wike, who will end his 8-year run as governor in Rivers State. We've seen him, inaugurating a host of capital projects, and visibly absent has been some of his party men at the PDP. Now, we even saw Governor of Lagos State yesterday, and I think Sunday as well. He's been, somewhat having a good time. Yesterday, he even, commissioned some projects along with the host governor. But then he's also using the opportunity to talk at his party men, looking at the moves and the speeches of Governor Wike.
Yes, the Wike drama is rocking the PDP, and the PDP will really love to get past it. But Wike is such a big presence in that party that there's nothing they can do about it. You could see that the BOS of Lagos, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, was there yesterday, looking trim in his jacket and speaking with a lot of confidence and a sense of camaraderie with Wike, the governor there. It was interesting to see him, inaugurate a bridge, a flyover, which it's interesting because a day before he was walking through looking at was it the blue line or the red line, which is also going to be inaugurated probably by end of this year. So you could see that Wike is doing that. Wike is inviting Sanwo-Olu. It's a way, in a sense, to say, look, you don't like Tinubu. Tinubu is fighting you. Yeah, is Sanwo-Olu here coming to...
Some people went as far as insinuating that, you can imagine, the Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu right there. So you can as well say that, okay, him as an Asiwaju at Tinubu is also there. Because looking at the caliber of, of the man there. Yes. And of course, while all that is happening, there's also, the talks about talks between Wike and Atiku also crumbling. Some say it's back to the trenches. Some say conditions that Governor Wike had issued might just be too impossible for the party to
like the removal of the party chairman.
Talking about the Okwoche Ayu leaving the scene as national chairman.
Well, it's a difficult time for the PDP presidential candidate, I must say. I can only imagine if he sleeps and wakes up, what goes through his mind every morning regarding the burdens he has to carry with how to move on. Because this is a very critical time where everybody, all the powers, all the stalwarts within the party are supposed to be aligning and coming together at this time, because this is the time to mend every fence, because very soon when INEC officially lifts the ban on campaigns, right, so that everybody can go out in a swing together. But when we still have these issues where no one knows where it's going to go, how it's going to turn out, how it's going to pan out, it's a very difficult and challenging time for the PDP presidential. But that is his cross he needs to carry right now, because the point there is that if you are the leader of the party, anyhow the party is, you have to carry it that way. And then you have to try to resolve it.
And the new storm in their relationship could have been avoided if Wike did not say that when he was to choose who was to be his vice presidential nominee, that he thought that Okowa could deliver, Wike could not deliver. He didn't even have to have gone there in the interview. He should have just left that as an ellipsis. Just left it unsaid. And then it was also quoted to have said that he could win without Wike. Okay, then why will you say those two things when you know that you are talking with the man. That's why I said a few days ago that when they said they meant that the ice melted, that no, the ice they broke the ice. I said the ice can break and the ice may not melt. So they still have glaciers in their hand.
Exactly, you
I
could
was
see
on
the
the
coast.
glacier yesterday
Absolutely.
in Port Harcourt.
Absolutely, and then
The-
of course
the
it's
ice
now
can still
going
be as
on.
cold.
Absolutely, even the fragments of the ice can equally be as
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 cold.
formidable.
As formidable.
Absolutely.
And if you add a little water, they could come together again
Exactly.
and become one block.
Absolutely.
One big
Absolutely.
cold
Cold
ice.
ice.
But the question has been asked. We've even seen some of his, his compatriots, even within the Rivers State, as a component of the PDP family. Saying that Governor Wike should watch it. They are increasing agitation now as to is he overdoing it? But then, of course, he's been resolute on his stance that. He said yesterday that you cannot, take the votes of, of Rivers State. You can't take our votes for granted. If you seek our votes, and of course, look at how Sam is now recalling all what Atiku Abubakar said. Are you belittling the votes that were coming from Rivers State? Are you belittling the man, or is he overrating himself?
Yeah, no, politics is defined in some quarters as conflict resolution of who gets what, when, and how. When there are strong men or strong pillars within your party that you know very well, within your mind of mind, you know that this stalwart is not a pushover, then you need to know how to engage. That is very, very important. There is a lot of ego within politics. That is what defines people's clout within, especially when you know that this person has a lot is bringing on the table, this one has a lot to bring on the table. There is a lot of ego that goes around that.
Exactly.
You need to be able to massage that ego.
Exactly.
So the point there is, whatever the thing is, anybody overdoing it, find a bigger way to subdue the person. Yes. If I have ego, you have ego in politics, there's a way that my ego has to outweigh yours.
Look for my interest.
Exactly.
And then
look for your interest and
find a way
into your mind somehow, and then let us talk.
Exactly. You know,
that's how the thing is.
I wrote to my column. I said, politics about principle, but it's also about interest.
Exactly.
But there's always principle in an interest, and there's always an interest in the principle. So we have to see how they go. So sometimes you have to come low. In War and Peace, Tolstoy said, he said it's better to go too low than not low enough.
Exactly.
Who is going to go
exactly.
low?
So that's the thing.
All right. We never see an end to these things. Of course, this period is crucial for every party. Of course, the APC,
but quickly,
the APC is there, the PDP is there, and several others.
Quickly, ultimately, it will be more interesting if PDP resolves their issue. And everybody, let's go to the polls. Let's discuss the issues, because it is of benefit to Nigerians that we discuss issues. APC, PDP, LP, YPP, all of them, PRP, coming together to begin to reach out to Nigerians, and then Nigerians who are the electorate, who are the actual king, will begin to sit down and debate, what is APC offering us? Okay, what is PDP saying? Okay, what is LP saying? So that at that time, it brings more robust engagement to the democracy and contribution to the democracy that we are trying to evolve. So I wish that PDP finds a way to resolve their issue, and let's move past this into something more engaging at the other side.
Into a more intricate matter.
Exactly.
Right. Because these are